What up, peeps? How are you all? Yeah, I see that Z. You like my parent-friendly start times, so yeah, I had to try to pick a time here that more people could be at. So, and a little bit more random on my end, that's for certain. Um, can you all hear me? Okay, I know the chat is always delayed for me, so I can never tell if I'm actually talking to myself or talking to you all. So, um, curious if you are all here and you can hear me. Awesome. So, hey, if you guys thanks for tuning into the live stream here. We're going to be talking all kinds of Wheel of Time stuff. Can you hear me good? Okay. So, how's everybody doing with your sequestering or your quarantine? Everybody doing all right? I did not know that Taylor Napier had a live stream. Anybody want to fill me in and let me know what happened with Taylor Napier's live stream? I see a couple new folks here that are maybe not done with the books. I will try to stop us when we get to anything on spoilers. But if you don't mind giving the video a like, it really helps YouTube promote this stuff. So if you don't mind liking the video, that would be awesome. But yeah, no, I'm very interested for any of you who did watch Taylor Napier's live stream. If you don't mind letting me know what happened in it, I'm sure we'll catch up here and do that. But yeah, welcome, guys. So how would someone downvote before this? If they look, I've got a couple people that love to downvote the channel or the live stream. So, hey, there's a specific person that does it for every video I post. So he's not very happy with me. Let's put it that way. But hey, welcome. So it's the end of the month. We're doing been doing some different videos here lately, getting some stuff out, and I have a couple more planned. So we're taking the quarantine where I've been stuck here at the house, taking advantage of that and putting more content out as I can. So hopefully you all are enjoying that a little bit. Kind of did an I did a video on the Land of Madmen, which was kind of off the cuff. We were in a voice chat in the Discord server, and somebody was asking about it, and I said, that'd be a good one to talk about because it's really not in the books much. And so made a video on it, and that one got some interesting results because it's certainly a video that, or at least a topic I think that doesn't really come up in the Wheel of Time. So that was a fun one to make. But yeah, so hey guys, so let me start. I love to pose questions to folks and just kind of let everybody know, kind of get the conversation started. Because I really, with these live streams, to me, this is more of just a chance to engage with you all and talk a little bit more. And so throw out your questions, pretty much anything. So Andrew, Nae'Blis, how are you handling the quarantine? So here's what I'm doing. So for those of you guys who don't know, I run a financial services business. I own an insurance agency, as well as I do investments in retirement and things of that nature. And obviously that was pretty hard hit because we do a lot of client facing work, is what I do typically. And so when I can't go physically see clients, that's been a detriment to our business for certain. And so, we've been at home, but luckily what we figured out is we've been doing a lot of Zoom. So you guys who are familiar with Zoom, we've been doing a lot of interaction with a lot of our clients that way, and it's been really cool. I'm really surprised that, let's just put it, the older generation has really picked up on that really, really well. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that, and that's been going well. So to answer how I'm doing with quarantine, I've been doing a lot of work on that end, but I've been at my house pretty much the whole time, other than leaving to go grocery shopping. That's pretty much all I've done. I did manage to pick up, well, I take that back. I found toilet paper in my garage the other day that I had just stored away from when I had moved, and it was in a box. And so, hey, lucky there. No issues with that. But hey, if you are new to the live stream, if you don't mind hitting the like button on the video, again, it helps YouTube promote this stuff. But any case, so to answer a couple of your questions, no whiteboard. I typically don't do the whiteboard on the live streams anymore. I kind of save that for videos. But so Jim Roberts, I enjoy the lore videos, excited for the show, but I like to discuss the books more until the show's actually here. Yeah, I really I want to strike a balance with it, guys. I've been saying this to some of you who get to hear me talk a lot. My top viewed videos are always news related about the shows. They get a lot of views very quickly. But that being said, it's not really why I made the channel, if that makes sense. I made the channel really to talk about Wheel of Time and to prompt conversation about it, because I just find the series to be really, really good. So I thread a line. I guess I'll put it that way. I thread a line with, I want to do the news content because I actually like talking about the show. I'm really excited for it. It's big. I mean, it's on my mind a lot. But I don't want to make so many news videos that's all I do. I don't want to become the Wheel of Time news guy. I want to be the Wheel of Time guy. Does that make sense? And so I do want to make a focus on a lot of lore-based videos, diving deep into the content, with also the point being that a lot of people, when the show comes out, are going to become super interested in the books. And so I want to have content for them, for new fans to come back and watch. And even for us to watch multiple times. And it's not really that exciting to go back and watch a news video from a year ago, right? Like, it's just not Rob Christensen, because I'm the news guy. You're the fake news guy. If you guys want fake news, the best fake news in Wheel of Time, subscribe to Weekly Wheel News. That's where it's at. His news is great. It's also fake, but it's great. Shelve Wheel of Time and tell us about the exciting world of insurance. Yeah. Well, actually, I am going to be making with one of my business partners, we're going to be doing a finance YouTube channel here. So if you really want to, hear me talk about insurance, then you're welcome to. I'll throw a shameless plug out there. If you've been dying to set up retirement or do any type of insurance, feel free to hit me up. I can do it remotely now. So, hey, if you want to buy insurance from Nae'Blis himself, let me know. Never thought I'd be pitching that. Hey, Nae'Blis, will they merge Elaine and Min? So Daniel Lobo is the biggest the second biggest troll in the internet behind the Badger Reborn. And to answer your question, no, they're not going to do it, Daniel. It got squashed by Rafe in the last live stream. So sorry. Have you thought about doing episodes on each nation from the 10 nations to presence? Yes, Danny. In fact, I will be doing that. Working on actually a lot of that. Part of my delay in that is trying to get the maps done. The map that I pretty much have finished right now, I'm finishing most of the cities in Andor, and then I will probably remake my Andor video with new maps, and I'll be doing kind of a walkthrough of the series. A lot of this stuff is all in conjunction with thegreatblight.com, which is the website that we're building. We're actually making a lot of headway on it, so it's kind of exciting, using this time to kind of, I'm pretty much spending most of my waking moments doing work on this stuff. So, hold on. I'm getting a text from one of my business people. Anyways, okay. So yeah, we're working on that a lot and working on some different maps. I think I saw MK mentioning maps here. Chloe, hey, I'm awake for a live stream. I personally love your lore videos. I thought the Eye of the World video was awesome. Hey, thank you very much, Chloe. We're going to be doing more of those. I've got pretty much a big slate of videos lined up here to kind of get into lore related. Definitely always let me know, though. I threw out, I'll mention this as something to kind of kick off some conversation, too. I threw this out there, and I won't get into too many details of it if you guys, but on Twitter, I asked a question. If we were to do a couple different panels as sort of not a replacement for Jordan Con, but as something that's kind of, well, in place of Jordan Con, what type of panels would you guys want to see? That's a question. What kind of what topics would you want to see discussed? Not necessarily with me in the panel, but what topics do you feel like would need to be discussed? What kind of information do you want to hear? Things like that. Definitely let me know. Hey, by the way, if you're not in my Discord server, definitely join the Discord server. There's a link in the video's description. Just click the link and it'll invite you to it. It teaches you how to do it. You really don't have to be a technology expert to jump in Discord. It's a pretty fun community. We do voice chats. We talk a lot about Wheel of Time. Even if you're even if you're reading the books for the first time, you can get in there and get in a book specific channel and talk spoiler free about what you've read to that point. That's been really cool for a lot of us to see people that are getting through the series the first time. So absolutely jump into the Discord. Would love to see all of you there. It's a lot of fun to have more and more people in that. So absolutely do that. Discord. If Hemingway had written the series, it would have been done in 2 books with very short sentences. Can you imagine Ernest Hemingway writing The Wheel of Time? I can't. That would have been a pretty awful book, actually, in my opinion. But hey. So I want to know more about what people think the One Power should be portrayed like, or what they would like to see. That's actually a really good topic. We've talked about that in a couple different videos. Rafe has actually kind of said what they're modeling it after, or at least what he would like to see, and a lot of it is the Doctor Strange movie in the MCU. Not necessarily looking exactly like that, but you can see various threads and kind of a general idea of how it might look. So yeah, that's how I'm kind of picturing it in my head. Rafe said he was really, really excited about it, so I'm super pumped to actually see it. I'm hoping in our first trailer that we see a little bit of it, but that'd be awesome. Ryan Travis, Nae'Blis, I found you months and months ago via Daniel Green. Hey, if you're not subscribed to Daniel Green, go do that, although I imagine all of you are. Just want to shout out and thank you all for the content you make. It rocks, especially during the pandemic craziness. Hey, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it, man. Hey, it's a lot of fun to make, and we all got to have our getaways from the pandemic. Hopefully, Daniel and I, once we're all done quarantining, we'll do another collaboration. We've been talking a little bit here, so we'll maybe do that again. If you haven't seen it, we did a live stream here at my house actually not too long ago. Or actually, I take that back. That was quite a while ago now that I think about it. It's a couple months back, but you can find that video and watch that one if you want. Again, hey, if you guys can like the video while we're here, that really helps YouTube promote these live streams. If you don't mind, I'd appreciate it. John Meyer, I want to see Sidene being gold with black tinges at the start. Interesting. That's an interesting thought on Sidene. I'm not sure that if we want to see the taint or if we should be able to see the taint or not. As long as they don't do something hokey like the weird finger dance they do in The Magicians. Yeah, I'm hoping. My big thing with channeling is I just don't want it to be cheesy or dumb. I want it to be. I really want the feeling for the show to be very gritty and real. I don't want it to seem cheesy fantasy. Although I really, guys, I say that there is zero evidence that we're going to get anything remotely close to cheesy fantasy. In fact, it's going to be pretty far from the opposite of that. I don't think we're going to get anything that looks cheesy or stupid. I think this is going to be a pretty darn gritty adaptation of the way I know they're doing it. And so do you think they're still going to call it the Dark One's taint in the show? Oh, Donald, Robert Jordan, and your innuendos and your language, the taint, huh? Well, I do think they will call it. So I don't know if they'll call it the taint because it would be pretty damn funny. But on the same token, think about that as a meme. Like it might be talked about if they called it the taint, right? Like, so maybe it would be a good thing. I mean, any type of publicity is a good publicity, and the show has a taint. So yeah, I think they need to show the taint like real up close. We need to get a good shot of the taint. I can't even say that with a straight face. What changes would you make to Wheel of Time which do not fundamentally change the plot? For instance, I would have Moghedien escape after the last battle. Interesting. So, okay. What changes would I make to Wheel of Time which are not fundamental changes? I've talked about one of them before. I would have Gawain leave the White Tower and go with Swan. How do I put this? We got to be careful with spoilers because I know we get some new people here, so I won't say that. But I would have a big change with Gawain's plot line, a lot actually. In terms of, and I think they're going to do some things with Logain as well, so I think that's already kind of a thing. We'll come back to that one a little later when we get into spoilers. Remind me of that question. Badger, I've never heard taint mean anything dirty until you. Badger, you have been incredibly sheltered if you have never heard the word taint used as it is. I'm not the one that came up with that. That's certainly not. We've been laughing at that for years about the taint. I remember reading it for the first time and thinking in my head, oh my God, Robert Jordan, what were you doing? Change the pot on feign ending. Yep, we'll probably talk about that one. I'll do. We're going to kind of keep the first half of the live stream fairly spoiler free, and then we'll kind of go to the second half of the live stream and be a little bit more spoiler heavy. Put it that way. Talking about why is the series so rereadable could be interesting. I just finished my second time through, mostly using audiobooks, and loved it just as much, if not more, than the first read. Hey, Jim Roberts, appreciate the comment, first of all. Second of all, you're right. The show is incredibly rereadable, or the book is. In fact, I would argue to you it probably gets better the more and more that you read it. You could read it 20 times and still find new stuff in it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I've really read this a ton, and you learn even the characters that maybe you didn't like on the first read through. Like, so my first read through of the books, I was talking about this the other night with some people. I really thought Rand was pretty sane the whole. God, I'm getting into spoilers again. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop and say this, guys. From here on out is just gonna be spoilers. Okay, if you haven't finished the books, then watch at your own risk. I'm gonna try not to overtly spoil anything, but I'm really going to try not to hold back because I can't talk about some of these questions without talking. So, be careful. You've been warned. Spoilers abound. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Like, I thought the first time I read through the books that Rand was very sane the whole time through. Like, I thought from his perspective, yeah, people might think he's crazy because he's got a voice in his head, but what they don't know is that he's actually sane and doing the right things. What I just didn't, like, I guess for some reason or another, I just believed Rand's point of view. And the reality is that Rand is crazy as in hell. Like, he's nuts. So towards the end of the books. And so later times reading through, I realized, wait a minute, Rand is not remotely always right. Like, I don't know how I read that the first time through. And I think you're going to find that's true with a lot of characters, that you just didn't, like, you didn't understand it well. Like, sometimes the description, a lot can get lost in the description, or you learn, you don't realize how good Robert Jordan is at writing unreliable narrators. And so everybody gives their perspective. I'll give you a really good example of this, right? The things that we take as fact about the world are really just the way that Aes Sedai are trying to explain things. So, for instance, Verin, with no context for explanation because she doesn't know, says that only a couple people are powerful enough in the White Tower to use the Choden Call, right? She says that to Rand in Great Hunt. She doesn't know that. She's never used it. In fact, they've never been used. They were never tested, right? They're just assuming that. Like, so that's a statement that we could take as fact as a reader, but when in reality, what it is it's Verin speculating. Okay, that type of thing happens throughout the books. Okay, so you see all the time characters that are giving their opinions that you could choose to see as fact, but in reality are just opinions, and like sometimes that's hard. And so you see that more the more times you read through it. So I would challenge you guys, like, read it more and more and more. You'll be surprised at what you find. So Robert Jordan just does a really good job of it. So anyways, there's my rant on that. Everyone's constantly saying, I'm glad he's not insane yet, threw me off. I'm not sure that people actually thought that, though. There are certainly people that were scared of him or thought that he was crazy. And there was certainly enough reason to think he was crazy. Gosh, Verin stuff, I definitely didn't notice until a couple of rereads. Verin is one of the best written characters in the series because he knew what he was doing with Verin from the very get-go, from the first time you met Verin until the very end, right? Like he knew what he was doing with her. That wasn't something that came about later. And so there are little clues here and there from Verin all the way through the series. And that's why I think everybody loves her, not only because she's like Dolores Umbridge, but not hateable. Like, I don't know how else to, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good character or somebody like Verin, but like, she's just awesome. And then to have her do what she did was awesome. I love Mike's book reviews just got through Gathering Storm. And so he got to that part and he was like, that's the best written chapter in the series, or one of them. And I don't think he's wrong. I love that Verin story. Excuse me. I love the Verin story. I love the reveal, but I love the little subtle foreshadowing there's been all the way through the books. I mean, guys, for those of you who were around reading these books as they were coming out, there was speculation that either Moiraine or Verin was a dark friend from very early on. And a lot of it stems back to one of them had to be because either Verin lied at the beginning and said Moiraine sent me in the Great Hunt, or Moiraine lied when she said she didn't send Verin. One of those two things has to be true, and it has to be a lie. So there was a lot of speculation that Robert Jordan either messed up when he wrote that, or that Verin or Moiraine was a dark friend. And so that was on the theory boards for years, right? Like, so yeah, she was the original Severus Snape, and she was a good version of it. A Verin tracker video would be awesome. What do you mean by a Verin tracker? Like, what do you want to know? I may do a Verin. Well, I'll leave that one alone for a minute. She underestimated Matt's stubbornness about the letter. She absolutely did. But then again, Matt's a hard character to to really understand anyway. It's definitely a series that is intended to be reread so that you can go back and enjoy the story on a whole new level. Yep. I mean, your first time you reread, even the prologue is going to make so much more sense to you on your second reread. Like, so many little things are in there that you didn't know, right? Moiraine may not have thought she sent Verin, but Verin may have thought so. Interesting. I've never really thought of it that way. But that was a big topic of discussion, right? Back then. Just hit her adventures and foreshadowing. Okay. I like that idea. Who all is your favorite character in the series? This has been a topic I've seen coming up a lot lately. I've done a video on this, so like my favorite character in the series, or who I think is the best character in the series, is Verin is close on that list. You guys can certainly watch that video to see the criteria and how I came about this, but Nynaeve is my favorite character in the series. I love Nynaeve. More so for her arc than the fact that I just like her. But I love Nynaeve. I see an Elida there. All right. I don't believe you, MK, but I already know that Matt is your favorite. So I'm seeing a lot of Matt. I see a lot of Lan, Verin. I see an Andral. I think that one's interesting. Nynaeve. See, Nynaeve is my favorite. By far, actually, Nynaeve is my favorite. When Avienda, I see a couple Andrals here coming through. Rand, huh? Most people don't say so. This is ironic because I would argue in most fantasy series, a lot of people do tend to empathize with who's considered the main character. And although Wheel of Time has a lot of main characters, I mean, it's still essentially this Rand story, right? I mean, he dominates the book time and all that, but it's interesting. Rand is not very well liked, and Rand is not really written to be very likable for most of the books. Perrin, I see a couple Perrins. Interesting. So Andral is a character to me that I like Andral, but I feel like he was developed too quickly. So the Sanderson development of Androl, I don't particularly care for. And here's why I mean by that. He's there, like you can find Androl, I think, as far back as it's either Winter's Heart or Path of Dagger. I think it's Winter's Heart is where Androl, I think, first shows up. And like he's basically just he's a mention of a character, right? But then like you get to Sanderson and all of a sudden Androl's an everything man who can do all these different things. And yeah, like say some people saying Androl became a Mary Sue. It's not even just his channeling ability or his ability with gateways. It's that the character development to me felt like, oh, he's done everything. He can do everything. Like he's smart. And had they wanted to do that with Androl, but they had been developing him longer than one book, it would have felt more believable to me. That's my issue with Androl. Is I think he's cool, but it's just too fast. Pavara had a little bit more development. Pavara was a lot more hot-headed when written by Robert Jordan, but she still wasn't written as a typical Red Aes Sedai. So I think Pavara was already set up to be kind of different. Now, she got a lot more expansion of her character under Brandon Sanderson, but yeah, Androl was the one to me that came out of nowhere. That's why it's hard for me to have Androl be one of my favorite characters, just because I felt like it didn't feel earned. I'll just put it that way. So most liked in terms of quality of writing, Rand, Nynaeve, and strangely enough, Elida. In terms of enjoyment of reading, Avienda. That's so interesting. I've very rarely heard people say they enjoyed Avienda very much, but I do think Rand is well written, believe it or not. I think Rand is very well written. I definitely think Nynaeve is well written. The reason I love Nynaeve is, first of all, I feel like she has very, very real development throughout the books. She's terrified, yet she doesn't understand that she's been brave. She's fiercely loyal of the people that she cares about, trying to defend. She likes to, even though she herself is a bully, she tries to defend others against bullies. Nynaeve is like the perfect epitome of do as I say, not as I do. But you see her learn to develop a little bit, and you see her insecurities are real. And as she overcomes some of her insecurities. So that's partially why I like her, is that she went from being so unbearable to being so real. And so she's got a number of what I think are some of the best moments in the series. And I just love the fierceness of her loyalty. I'll just put it that way. Like, and how she really never changed. Like, she never became the typical Aes Sedai. In fact, she kind of rebuffs that. Hey, if it comes between me saving people or trying to maintain my calm, I'm going to save people because I shouldn't be calm. I need to save people. Right. And that line in Towers of Midnight, like it's just, there's all those parts of it that make me love her. And even her coming to terms with seeing Moiraine again in A Memory of Light, and that bitterness over Moiraine, that really unfounded stupidity of her hating Moiraine, comes full circle to where she kind of feels like she's grown up. That's why I love Nynaeve. I felt like she's not the most likable character. I don't love her because I would love to spend time with Nynaeve. I love her because of how well written I think she is. That's kind of where I sit with Nynaeve. In terms of the other characters, Rand, I feel like is very well written. I think Matt is, I hesitate to say Matt is well written. I think Matt is very difficult to write because Matt, in my opinion, is not a real person. People jump on me on this all the time. I like Matt. Don't get me wrong. Matt's one of the most entertaining characters in the entire story. To me, Matt is not a real person in the sense that it's hard to picture somebody that can simultaneously be so incredibly capable, so smart, so wise, so quick thinking, but yet so stupid and ignorant in other ways. Like, and I know people are like, well, I know somebody that's ignorant and smart. I get that, but like not in the way that Matt is. That's why Matt is well written. That's why Matt was really hard for Robert Jordan to write, is that Matt as a character doesn't make sense sometimes. Like just the things that he does and how he acts don't make sense. And I think that's why people love Matt. Okay, I don't get me wrong, I love Matt. I just think that it believing that somebody like him could exist suspends belief a little bit. Perrin is believable. Perrin's kind of that react slow, very emotional, but try to keep a level head. Like Perrin makes sense. Perrin's boring to me at sometimes, but like at the same time, Perrin is cool. Egwene is, I think Egwene is very well written. I think the only issue I really have with Egwene's storyline, okay, in the fact that she's written, is I feel like while all of her jumps in power, let's say, are somewhat earned, there's none of them that are that feel completely unearned. I mean, she definitely puts in her due. She is with the Shan-Chan. She is with the Aiel. She trains into them. She trains with Aes Sedai. She's naturally talented. She gets tutored by Swan. All of those things are true, right? And all of those things combine to help her become what she does. The problem that I have with it is it just happened too quickly. Okay, like the events of the story that where Egwene is basically her rise to power happens over two years. And while that's possible that she could learn things in that period of time, it's a little bit harder. That's all I'm saying, is I just feel like they needed it to happen for the story's sake, but Egwene doesn't have the plot armor that Rand, Matt, and Perrin do as being ta'veren. That could have been solved by having Egwene be a ta'veren, and then it would have made sense. I think, again, I don't mean to say that it's unearned. Everything that she gets is earned. She's very capable, but at the end of the day, it just needed. She would have had a little bit more time. She did get a lot of help, and so I see some people saying that. So Gideon is just a magical Jordan Belfort. That's funny. All right, I need to hit on, guys. I am so sorry for missing a lot of your comments. I'm notoriously bad at it, and like 9 bajillion comments just went through. So I apologize if I'm missing you. But and I'd still like to know what panels you guys would like to see if we were to make a JordanCon replacement. So Perrin chose Rand over Fael in the end, but his love for her is what protected him from Lanfear's compulsion. I frankly thought that storyline was kind of stupid. Just going to say, like, the power of that's very Harry Potter and not consistent with the rest of the magic system, in my opinion. If you wanted to make the argument that somehow Perrin resisted it due to something else, cool. I really, really hated the power of my love for Fael made me resist compulsion BS. I just, that was the whole Harry Potter crap. I mean, that's not, to me, I just hated that. I know if you wanted to say it's just a weave, that I could understand. If Perrin had evolved some reality of being able to resist it, I would have understood that more. But I really hated my love. I just hated that. I hated that. So it was, well, no, kind of. So everything near the boar was basically turning into the world of dreams. That's why Perrin was in the world of dreams and Rand technically wasn't, but they could see each other because basically the pattern disappeared the closer you get to the boar. So that's why I said, like, Perrin resisting because of love made no sense. They should have just made it he resisted because it's just a weave, right? Like, that would have been maybe more believable to me. I just hated the I hated that. I hated the love part of it. I don't know. Egwene was not a ta'veren. Egwene was absolutely not a Ta'Veren, and Robert Jordan stated that she was not. So I was just making the point that if she had been a Ta'Veren, it would have been able to more adequately explain some of the jumps in power that she saw in the short period of time, because like you could make that argument about Rand, Mat, and Perrin, right? How did they do that? Well, they have the plot armor of being Ta'Veren. Egwene doesn't, and so therefore sometimes her rise to power is a little bit more suspect. Of course, Nae'Blis hates love. I don't hate love. I hate love being used as a magical force when it isn't portrayed anywhere in the series as being that. That's what I don't like. Okay. So I don't like the fact that that's a soft magic moment all of a sudden that's like not clearly defined in a story that has very hard magic elements. That's what I don't like about it. So if that makes any sense. I always thought that Perrin and Fael's relationship was super toxic. Of course, it was in my 20s when those books came out. So yeah, it's toxic, but then again, keep in mind they're 20 and 19 years old. Most young people I know have incredibly dramatic relationships, and it's a relationship where there's very little communication, and they assume Perrin, like Fael assumes that Perrin will understand that she once yelled at, and so she plays like passive aggressive bullshit games with him, and he doesn't know how to handle it because he's so straightforward and doesn't see through it. And I never understood him falling head over heels for her. Like I never understood that part of it. To me, the relationships that Robert Jordan wrote are suspect. A lot of them tend to be based around the idea of mutual respect, and it's a lot of hard sparring, like I'll box your ears, and then I love you because I want to box your ears, like that kind of stuff. Like, he's not the best at writing relationships, although there are a few very good ones. I actually felt like Mat and Tuon's relationship was kind of more earned. I actually love the Lan and Nynaeve. If you go back and reread the series, you start to see Lan and Nynaeve make more sense. I liked Rand and Min more than I liked Rand and Elaine or Rand and Aviendha. Rand and Aviendha was too, like, yeah, you can argue that was well written in the sense that it was subtle in the fact that, you know, they wanted to fight each other, but like it was almost like Aviendha saw Rand and was like, I love him, but I don't want to love him, so I'm going to be a dick. Like that's kind of Aviendha's attitude towards that relationship. And so I never really liked it or cared for how that came about. But I definitely felt like Rand and Min made more sense, at least. Like that feels like a relationship that could have happened now, if that makes any more sense. But okay. I love the relationship between Moiraine and Tom. They had chemistry, but they were two tigers circling around each other. I agree with that. I just felt like they didn't spend enough time to have it be real. Like, again, that's a relationship where there was a lot of respect for each other there, but love is a stretch for me for how long they got to spend with each other. The relationship I hated the most was Gawain and Egwene. I felt like Gawain completely takes away from Egwene as a character. Like, you've got this hyper-focused, achievement-oriented Supergirl, and then you just have this idiot Egwene that for some reason she's head over heels with and loses her senses over. I hated that relationship. I felt like it took away from Egwene's character quite a bit, in my opinion. Do you want more screen, Tom, and Maureen moments on the show? I absolutely do. I want them to build that out more. I think that would be awesome. Even Egwene hated the relationship between Gawain and Egwene. That's a good one. I agree. I could not. I hated that one. Okay, Min is the best girlfriend. Well, you could argue that, I suppose. Hey guys, real quick, if you don't mind hitting the like button on the video, that would really help YouTube recommend this to folks. If you can smash the like button, I would appreciate it. We're at 81. I'd love to see that thing like fly to like 140 or whatever. That'd be great. Avienda didn't mean to be a dick. She just felt like she wasn't good enough for Rand until she was a wise one. That made her uncomfortable, along with Elaine had him first. See, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's where I think a lot of that came from, but it was very selfish on her end. I just, it didn't feel real. Like, I don't know why she loved him. They never had any real tender moments other than when they made hot igloo sex. So, I don't know. I just didn't see that one. Bail and Aguinan is super forced and weird. Again, it comes back to this, guys, the overarching thing that I think you look at when you look at, maybe I'll make a video on this topic. The relationships in the Wheel of Time are so ingrained in the idea of mutual respect. So Aguinan and Bail, like, their love is based around the fact that they're both ship captains and they're both good at what they do and they see value in each other. Lan and Nynaeve's relationship starts with Lan being shocked that she could track him, and then giving her praise for it. Moraine and Tom is based around this mutual respect. Even Elaine and Rand is based around this idea of who they are, and, like, you know, it's very respect based. And then so you see that a lot in some of the different relationships. Now there's other ones that don't follow that trope or don't follow that, but on the whole you see that a lot. Really disliked how the story took the predictable everybody has to pair off before the end track. Only Tam Althor seemed to escape. I thought about this. What if they made like a Lifetime movie with Tam getting together with some single lady after he felt that he couldn't love again, right? Would you watch that Lifetime movie with Tam Althor as the main character? I'm curious. Okay. If you could add a scene not from the books to the show, what would you add? I think I would want to see more of the Forsaken. So anything that has to do with Forsaken, giving them backstory, specifically Demon Dread, that's what I would love. I'm seeing some of you, I would watch that Lifetime movie. I hate Lifetime movies, but literally Lifetime movies follow the same tropes. It's always like going home again, falling in love again after I couldn't. Rich person going back to their poor old town and realizing what it's like to not be rich again. Like, same plot every time. Came here because I saw Nae'Blis was flexing. I'm double flexing now. I'm chewing on ice. Of course you hate Lifetime movies because you hate love. And yet you figured me out. I hate love. I am the Nae'Blis. Nave spit in our Hallmark movie track. Yeah, guys, like, they're literally all the same plot. Every single one of them. I make fun of my mom for them all the time because that's all she watches, and they're ridiculous. It's the same plot every time. So you could pretty much start the beginning of the movie and say what's going to happen. All right. So we've been talking about who everybody's favorite characters are, and then we somehow got into favorite relationships in the books. So here's what I'm interested in. Who is your favorite bad guy in the books? Like, who's your favorite villain? That's what I want to know. I know who my favorite is, and I know who I would love to see more of, but I'm curious who your favorite is. My favorite is, without a doubt, without any way, shape, or form about it, is Grendel. Grendel is the best, in my opinion. I wish we got more Grendel being Grendel. But who would I like to see expanded upon? I would like to see Shamael or Moradin, both of them, be more impactful. And then I want to see Demon Dread more. I want to see Demon Dread be... I want to see the backstory there. Because I felt like he actually had some different layers to him that I think would have been pretty interesting. Now, I see some people mentioning Semirog. I do want to see more of Semirog because I want Semirog to earn her, like, I want her to literally torture people. And have it show. Like, I want her to come across as being so evil and sadistic. That's what I want to see. So, but I really want all of the Forsaken. I really think compelling villains make a show. So I want there to be really, really compelling villains. Okay? I'm a really, really sick man. I mean, I do want Semirog to be terrifying. And she is terrifying, but she doesn't get enough scenes to be terrifying. And like, so I just think that we need, I want more of the Forsaken. I want them to be almost main characters. I want them to be Tywin Lannister level characters in the Wheel of Time. Like, I want to get scenes with them. I want to get scenes that humanize them to a degree. But then that humanization, and then when they do evil things, just makes the evil seem even more evil. That's what I want. Okay. I want them to be seemingly like, I think that happened with Lanfear to a degree. Like, we felt like she might be a decent person, kind of maybe. And then she got mad and then skinned a guy alive and tried to kill everybody. Like, because she snapped. Like, I want more. I want more of the Forsaken. I love the Forsaken. They're actually more accomplished than people realize. Like, I feel like it's funny because, again, watching Mike's book reviews, he's reviewing all the books, reading them the first time. One of his criticisms has been that it feels like the Forsaken are all bumbling idiots going around screwing everything up and losing all the time. And I feel like that's somewhat true, right? Like, they kind of do screw everything up. But I feel like they also accomplish a lot more than people realize. Like, some of the things that they do are impactful. The problem is they just don't kill anybody meaningful. So honestly, one of the things I would like to see meaningful deaths earlier on. Not dying for the sake of dying, but I want to see meaningful deaths. That's what I want to see. I want to see impactful villains. I want to see Fane kill people that we care about. I want to see Semirog torture somebody that we care about, so I hate her more. You get what I mean? Like we loved it to hate Joffrey in Game of Thrones. Loved to hate Joffrey. So, but you hate Joffrey for good reason. Like, at the very early on, he kills a dog. Like, he kills a wolf, I mean, for him being a wuss. Like, you knew Joffrey was a bad character. We needed reasons to see why he was so bad. So that's what I want. So, okay. Did anybody watch Taylor Napier's live stream? Was there anything important from that? I did not see it. And so I definitely love if you can talk in the chat a little bit about some of the things, maybe in Cliff's notes about what he said. I see somebody saying that he mentioned that he would be in season 2. So I'm curious if any of you watched it and you want to let me know what happened in it, because I did not see it. Okay. Forsaken accomplished a ton. The big secret of the Forsaken, in my opinion, is that most of them are incompetent morons with lots of power and life experience. Yeah, like, they do come across as incompetent morons, right? Like, but they're not incompetent morons totally. So I guess that's they're not always being morons. I feel like it just comes across that way because Rand beats them, right? So who is Taylor Napier? Taylor Napier is Rafe's boyfriend, but he's also playing one of Alana's warders. So, yeah. Grandal, Semirog, Masana, and Demon Dread are not morons. And I agreed. None of them are morons. I think some of them come across as morons, but even Samael, who came across as a moron sometimes, was way more accomplished than you might realize. Like, he found caches of objects of power. He successfully defended Ilion. If not for Moradin, he kills Rand. He scatters the Shido all over the place. Like, he does a lot of things strategically that were really damaging to the forces of the light. So, like, what is my answer to that? No, I don't think they were all Morans. I just think sometimes it feels like they were, right? You could make Fane so badass. I agree. I think Fane could be badass quite a bit. I just feel like, how do I put this? You need Fane to, like, he's horrifying and he does some scary things. Like, there's some straight up horror moments from Padan Fane, but he needs to do something impactful. I think here's what I would like to see. Not only killing Perrin's family, I'll give you an idea for how I think Fane could be adapted on. I think Fane, if he kills somebody like Marin Alvear, okay, tell me that would not be, or Alsbet Luhan, or Master, or what's his name, Harold Luhan, or even Abel Cawthon. What if Padan Fane kills somebody from the Two Rivers that, like, we care about, that isn't a major character? See, I see that's the reaction that would get. No, not my Marin. If he killed Marin Alvear, how impactful would that be? First of all, like, you would be, like, blown away by that, and it would actually make sense because nobody would believe that Padan Fane the Peddler could do that. Okay, so, like, tell me that wouldn't be cool. And I know it's not something that we would love to see, okay, but if you added in a character that's Egwene's mom and Padan Fane kills her, and Rand finds out about that, like, what, that's adding to that guilt. I just feel like that's something that they could do that would add to it, right? Like, I feel like that totally adds to the potential for making those villains bad. Okay, things like that need to happen, where they need to kill some characters off to add weight to the things that happen. Because at the end of the day, one of the major criticisms you can give Wheel of Time is that not enough major characters die. And so they're even when they do die, they seem to come back, right? So people that are impactful that we care about need to be killed. Perrin's family being killed would be pretty horrific too. But yeah, I just think things like that need to happen. That's kind of my main point. Okay. Important deaths invest you emotionally. I agree. So exploit Nae'Blis' sick love of murder and torture. And yep, guys, there's a reason I'm called Nae'Blis and not I don't know, what's a good name? I'm not a good guy. Let's just put it that way. I'm not a good guy. I think once Semirog puts the Adom on Rand, Min should be killed. That would be a bold one, and I think it's doable. Honestly, if Rand had killed Min there, he goes off the deep end, right? That even adds to it. So I think it's very possible. I mean, honestly, that's not a change I would hate if Rand actually if Semirog made Rand kill Min. Okay? Like, that would be awesome. It would be awful. I don't want to watch it. But if you're talking drama, I'm all in for that, right? Like, I'm totally in for that. Yay bliss. Love bliss. Yeah, that's awful. I am not a love bliss. I hate love, right? Kill Min. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if it happens, the Shadow wins. Well, the Shadow almost wins anyway. So Rand does almost go off the deep end, right? Like, imagine that, having that same epiphany or having the same feelings. Like, I want them to try. I want it to go really far where he's almost broken, Okay. So I really do feel like that would be incredible development. It would be, you would bring men back for the last battle, and you get to see, well, I died for you, but I get to live. Like, there's this whole like thing that could be done with that drama. I just feel like that would totally work. Okay. And so I want to see more. Yeah, that's red wedding type of television. Totally is, right? Like, totally red wedding type television. Thank you, Lord Captain Commander Dunn of the Queen's Guard. That is a long name. Thank you for the donation. Casting for Lanfear, Katrina Law Jarrett Montgomery for me. I'm not sure who those people are. I would love to see a picture if somebody could, like, maybe have to Google it later. Thank you for the donation, but I really hope they nail the Lanfear casting. I would not be shocked, frankly. I know we probably have an Ishamael casting. I can't wait to hear that one. But yeah, I'm just super, super interested in who else would be meaningful deaths, right? Like, who else could die that would mean something? Okay. And I know it sounds fun. Like, it sounds awful, like I'm talking about deaths, but like, guys, think about this. How long was the Red Wedding talked about? Like, I knew it was coming. I knew the episode was coming. I knew we were about to see it happen. And it still punched me in the gut, right? And then we talked about it for weeks, and people that had never read the books came back and talked about it for weeks. And we're like that moment solidified Game of Thrones as being such a high level show. Okay. For so long. I'm all in for killing off some characters, but not overdoing it. Okay. Not overdoing it. Weeks, years, I still talk about it. Yeah, it's great. I'm sorry if you've never watched Game of Thrones. Sorry, peeps, but deal with it. Morghase's death. See, Morghase is another one I think they could kill. Although I do kind of like the idea that Morghase is following Perrin around. And we know that it's Morghase, but he doesn't. Like, I kind of like that dynamic. I think it's good drama. So I don't think they necessarily have to kill Morghase. But I could also see it happening if we wanted to cut the plot line. Who mentioned getting rid of the Aiel? Nobody's cutting the Aiel. In fact, we know the Aiel are not being cut. So that one is not going to be cut. But I think some people could die. That's all. Kill Perrin. Honestly, I think one of the big three could die. I could see it happening. I feel like Perrin is almost too powerful politically at the end of this. Like, it almost transcends belief how powerful Perrin is politically at the end of the story. Perrin is the king of Saldaea, basically effectively the king of Ghealdan. He's a high lord, higher than all of the other lords of Andor, which is the most powerful country. He's over a popular region. Okay, like, he's got all these different things going for him. I don't like. He's just too powerful politically. I guess I'll just put it that way. So it would be okay to kill him off, I think. That's all. I'd sacrifice Elaine and Aviendha to keep Min. But that's exactly the reason why killing Min would be important. You could effectively not have the story with Min from then on out. And I just feel like that would be really, really cool. So much hatred for Min. Who hurt? Look, nobody hates Min. In fact, I like Min. But that's exactly the reason that the reason I think she'd be a good one to kill is because I like her. It actually makes us care. And it feels like the Forsaken, for lack of a better way of doing it, it feels like they've done something. It feels like Cimarog impacted the story, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see the Forsaken impact the story. That's what I want. I want Moghedien bail firing the boat. I want to be introduced to the Red Arms that are on the boat with Nynaeve, and I want to care about them enough that when they die at Moghedien's hands, that matters. I want to see Moghedien do something that makes me feel like she's dangerous. Okay. I see people saying you don't have to kill characters for effect, but I think it adds to some of the drama. We are adapting it, and it needs to be dramatic to keep people tuning in. I'm not saying kill characters off for no reason. That's not what we're saying. We were talking about individual moments where the Forsaken or the villains in the story could do something that would increase the danger that we feel. Because really, most of our main characters don't ever really feel like they're in danger. That's kind of the problem with it, is it's bad storytelling on a television perspective if we never feel like anything can happen to the main characters. Okay, so coming back to it, if we talked about one, if Fane, while in the Two Rivers in Shadow Rising, kills one of our the main Two Rivers characters, so knocks off like Marin Alvear, for instance, right? Like, or Bran Alvear. What that would do for Fane's character and how our reactions, I mean, that would devastate people. Okay. It would devastate people if Rand, when Semirog takes him over, actually strangles and kills men. Like, it actually plays into the whole how do I put it, like destroying Rand's mind. Like, it plays into that, so it's possible. So there's things like that. Now, do those things have to happen? Absolutely not. But if they did happen, I would not be opposed to it. Okay, that's all. So, well, hey everybody, I am going to call it quits. We've been on here for about an hour. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I like talking with you guys as much as we can. It's a lot of fun to kind of connect and make sure to check. Click the link in the description. Join the Discord server. We talk all the time about Wheel of Time. We talk in voice chat. I'm sure people will be in the voice chat tonight. I'm sure people will be in there talking. If you're just reading the books, we've got non-spoiler channels. Just join the Discord. Just click the link. You'll be able to get in. It's easy. Look forward to talking with you all there. Appreciate y'all guys. And hey, till next time, peace out.